Lonely Globe, episode 5 with n0trixx. First female on the podcast. How's it feel?
Hello, everyone. I'm very excited. Thank you.
It is mental.
And it's an honor.
I've been wanting to do a podcast with you for a long time. Ever since I've started it up, you're literally the first female I've wanted to do a podcast with. Just because it's just, do you know what it is? It's your music, it's your style and all that. Like, it's actually a pleasure to do a podcast with you, I'm not going to lie.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
Nah, how's it going anyway?
Appreciate it. Not bad. I just dropped a podcast literally last night, and it's throughout my career, I think that's the first one that like literally got me trembling.
Yeah.
As in, I was just so anxious throughout the case, and now I feel such relief to finally get over it because it's been received exactly well as I could have hoped. Because sometimes when you release something that is very dear to your heart and it's very personal and it's very important to you and it has all the thought put into it, and people are like, nah, you know what? I'll just stay with those heavy bangers where there's no thought put whatsoever. It's just dumb as fuck, but it's fun. And you're like, oh my God. What do I do with this? And you're just getting depressed for weeks after that because
I know.
The world doesn't understand me.
The podcast went well, I'm guessing though, for like your first one.
Yes.
That's good.
Yes.
That's the main thing. Hopefully, it's going to be a bit more comfortable with you today. So, tonight. What time is it there?
It's 10, so we are 2 hours ahead of you.
Where is it? Where are you from?
I'm in Turkey.
Okay, that's right.
Originally from Russia. It's a very long story how I got in trouble with the authorities for protesting the war, and now I'm stuck all alone in this country, which
is interesting.
Really very new to me. Yeah, there's a lot to talk about.
Oh God. Okay. God, there's going to be a lot to cover now. Oh, this is getting exciting. Okay, the first thing we're going to get into, n0trixx. How did the name come about? Like, how did that?
Come about? It's a mix. It's a mix of my real name, my real last name, my nickname as an identity within my DID system. That's also something to talk about.
Yeah, don't put any identity thing if you don't want to like put anything about you.
No. I'm open about everything.
Okay.
But and the fact that I don't like to fool people, I really go without any tricks. I'm straightforward as fuck. Sorry, can we swear?
Yeah, go for it. Fuck it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no, go for it. This is going to be interesting then. This is actually going to be interesting. It's a very unique name though. It's a very it's something you don't like. I don't know. n0trixx. Like, I don't know.
I was also surprised no one has taken that before me. It's like,
it's like, because you get so many people like within music now that release, like they'll have songs like, how do I explain it? Like, you got a lot of hip hop artists, got like Lil Baby, like, I don't know. Travis Scott, for instance, his name's not Travis Scott. I think it was like, if I'm right, I might be wrong. I think the Travis was from like his uncle or something, or is someone he knew. Like, but do you know what I mean? Like, it's one of those where a lot of people like use names as an identity thing, like you said, which doesn't actually relate anywhere near them. Like, anywhere, like mine's Mashy, my nickname. Like, my real name's Matthew, but Mashy's like one of those where I've said to people in the podcast before. It's like Mashy's a nickname that was formed because I was younger. My brother couldn't say Matthew; it was Mashu. And then in the family, everyone called me Mashy. So, like, that's something that sticks. Where, like, you get a lot of artists now, and it's just like, I just have that because it sounds cool. Here's a perfect one. Psytrate. I'm going to get into this. I did a podcast with Psytrate the other week. By the way, he wants to do music with you, so I'm going to get into that. Because he said he's listened to his song, and he's like, I really want to do music with n0trixx, like, 100%. He told me, personally, to get into the podcast and NASCAR. So I was like...
Okay, he should feel free to hit me up.
This is what I've said to him, and he didn't listen to me. So
you can't be shy in this business.
100%. But then again, I've said this on his podcast. Psytrate's music, you can't put into any genre. I personally said I have to create a playlist in like titling the genre Psytrate because I don't know how to put his music. I'll have to link you his songs. He doesn't know himself. That's what makes it even funnier. So But yeah,
Well,
his name, for instance, he got his name from a he read the back of a bottle of laxatives and was like, yeah, saw
I
Sideshow.
already
It
like
was a
him.
cool name and went, yeah, fuck it, I'm gonna give Sideshow.
Shout outs. You see my poo poo right there?
Oh my god, yeah, poo poo shout out. I was wondering if he was pointing at that. I was like,
Oh,
oh
I'm
shit.
sorry. I should have made it more visible. I know.
No, it's so good. It's so good.
How do we make it more? There
Oh,
you
sorry. Yeah,
go.
there you go.
Shout
There you go.
outs.
Shout out to Poo. Is it Poo Poo?
Yeah.
Shout out to Poo
Poo
Poo.
poo pillow. Oh my god, I'm
When you
so
when you was telling
sorry.
me about my setup, your setup's cool. I like the setup, by the way. The whole setup.
Oh,
The
thank you.
LED
Thank
lights in the
you. Yeah,
background
I'm
as well.
yeah, I'm progressing with that with each time, like,
Mine will get
just
there.
yeah,
I'm gonna have
just
like
minor
7,000 cameras
upgrades
on me.
with each podcast and each filming.
It costs so much money.
Not
Cameras,
here. Not here it doesn't.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
I might have
Come
to get
over to
some.
Turkey.
It's either come over to Turkey or I might personally have to get you to smuggle some stuff over here.
Okay. I'm at your
I'm very
service.
good.
I'm hoping I'm gonna be in the UK very soon for
Oh,
a
awesome!
tour.
If you do a show, that'd be brilliant. If you can do a
I
show in the
will
UK.
be.
Oh, am you really?
November 24th. As soon as I get my visa, I will be able to announce it because last time that we were trying to get me a gig, it was all ended in tears. So this time around, I applied for a visa 3 months in advance, and hopefully it will all come together because that will be the gig promoting my EP that's
Oh,
dropping
that'd be brilliant. Is
in November.
November the 24th on a Friday?
Yes, it
Because I
is,
know that
and
because I'm sure I'm at Prodigy. I'm seeing the Prodigy the day before.
that's
So it's
cool.
gonna
Well,
be
2 gigs
that's,
in a row.
yeah, 2 gigs in 2 days. Where are you thinking about performing?
No,
London?
it's going to be London, but we are also planning other shows to be
Please
added
come to
to
Birmingham then.
that.
Birmingham.
Okay, good. Okay,
Yeah,
let's get
yeah.
that done.
Birmingham would be a good one. Birmingham will definitely be a good one. I'm gonna ask you straight away now. We're gonna go into the identity thing.
Okay.
I know you've explained to me the mask. Well, I've put the mask as a post before of getting an understanding why you use it, but what so people know what's the story with the masks, so, like within your music. So obviously, Slipknot use masks, and like you got all sorts of people that use them now. Scarlett used to wear a lot of masks at one point. Now he doesn't, and then he does. Like, what's your story of why you
Okay,
do that?
mine is very complicated because first of all, I don't know if you noticed, but I'm a very open person. That's just
Yeah,
like
no,
how I
that's
am by
yeah, brilliant.
nature, and it's a real struggle because it's very hard for me to just like not open up to the world, but I have to because as I mentioned, I have diagnosed a dissociative identity disorder, and there are two alters, two persons, two people living within my body in this inside this head, and the other one that there's just two. Like there are people who have like loads,
Yeah,
dozens. I'm really lucky that my mind split on only just in two parts, but my other self doesn't approve of all of this whatsoever. She is as far away from music as anyone could possibly be,
yeah.
and she wouldn't want anyone to ever know what she's like, what her other self is doing. As in, it's a bit of a complicated thing to explain, but I'm happy to. But
Yes.
basically, how it goes with this disorder is sometimes the host can change. So I'm literally the host, and there's another person within my
Hmm.
head having passive influence over my actions from time to time, or just like there are episodes where it just kicks in and it's very hard to control. But overall, we are like more or less the same in dominance. Like we're just as strong as each other, and so it's very hard to kick each other out. But so it happens that we swap, like the hosts can only swap from time to time. And I really don't know how that happened. We still didn't get through to the reason for it with the two therapists that I worked with. But basically, she lived in this body for some dozen years, and now I am in charge. But there is no certainty what that's gonna be like later. Because before she was in control, we were like switching from time to time, and then
Yeah.
like it happened to be that now just one is the host and the other isn't, and so basically, if ever there is a change in who's the host and change in control, she wouldn't want to be like her life to be totally destroyed and like not being able to come back and use this face and use this body as she wishes. So there are no things that I can do that are not able, like irreversible.
Yeah.
So
You can't. You have
I
no
can't make.
control.
You see, I have no tattoos. I would want to have some. I don't. I can't. I'm not allowed.
Yeah,
If
that
I'm
is
just.
crazy. That is. That is very. It's very
It
interesting.
is.
It's like you have no set of control. Then in a way, you have a thought. Like, do you feel? Do you feel it coming on? Like, if you is it if the host was to if anything was to switch between your personalities, would you feel that coming on or not?
Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It's very intricate because, like, for instance, sometimes I feel I can't, like, exactly at some point, I didn't understand why is it I'm not having a tattoo made because, like, I knew that I wanted it, but why am I not doing this?
Yeah, yeah,
And like, I really want to go there, and then I'm like, I'm just turning around. I'm like, to a what you call it, ink shop or whatever
yeah,
it's
yeah.
called, and I can't because there something is stopping me, and I don't understand what. Like, I really don't understand the reason. And then later I realized that I'm just being controlled and like held back in some certain things, and that's one of those things. So that's called, like, it's officially in all the research, it's called passive influence. So sometimes you are in control, but there's still that thing within your head controlling you
Yeah.
from doing some things that you would otherwise do. So that's
Yeah,
the way it is.
it's very interesting because this is the first time I've ever come across someone with like, is it classed as split personality? It's like a split personality thing.
Well, that's the kind of mainstream name for it, but
Yeah.
it's called DID, dissociative identity disorder.
Okay. So like that, I've never come across someone that's got is DID. Is it? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
DID.
I've never come across anyone. So it's very interesting to like speak to someone and actually get an understanding of, especially someone that suffers with it, because you don't know actually what goes on in people's lives. It's like now, like anyone that doesn't know you as an artist, so you produce your music and you do this, you do that. There's probably people that follow you and follow your music that probably don't know that much about this, which is quite interesting to talk about. And this is the point in this podcast. It's like it's not to get the story of people's lives and why and like the story of the artist and the stuff they just do in their like day-to-day life. It's the case of like it's learning about the person behind the music, and the music's one thing, but there's a big picture behind it all before it all started. Do you get what I mean? It's
Yep.
that's why it's so interesting. So like what was it like when you first started your music then? Like how like when you first started your music, was it a case that you could just go straight into it, or was it a struggle at first to
It's very like that's also very much contributed to my mental condition because in my teenage years, in our system's teenage years, I was already a musician. I was really into it and I was passionate about it. But we the whole thing about this mental condition is because like it's progressed from a traumatic experience when I was 14. And so back then, without realizing what that was, I already kind of felt that I had this condition because I even had drawings from when I was a teenager, where I drew myself having 4 personalities. I now know that there's only 2, but back then I
You wouldn't
had,
have known.
and yeah, that's another thing about this thing. It's like it's a protective function of the brain. The brain is trying to save itself
Yeah.
from the struggle and from the suffering and the trauma, and it creates like a separate part of the brain where you can be able to escape that. And because of that, it's designed in a way where you are not supposed to know what's going on.
Yeah.
And that's where the therapists come in and they help you understand what's going on in your head. Because at first I was so confused because I was not living my life. I woke up 2 years ago, 3 years ago now, not trapped in this body, trapped in someone else's life. So this was my body. I felt like that was me.
Yeah.
But I felt like everything is wrong. The friends around me are not mine. The family doesn't feel like
Right.
my family.
Yeah.
Yeah, the work that I was doing. The funniest thing is that we couldn't be more different from like one from the other because she didn't listen. She doesn't like music. Like, you know, those sort of weird people who never listen to music at all.
Yeah.
And it's very hard for us to understand them. Well, she was one of them. So I can't leave the
What are the
house
odds of
without
that, though?
headphones.
Like, what are the odds of that? Like, you enjoy music that much, and then the odds of that, of her
We
not.
have the other way around with me and the numbers. So while you were talking about how rare this condition is, and I was like, damn, was it 4% of the world's population or 0.4? I'm so bad at numbers. Like I literally forget every single thing. So I think it's 4% of the global population that
Yeah.
has DID, but still, I might be wrong because I'm bad with numbers. I'm notoriously bad
I
at
am.
numbers. I forget
Absolutely
everything.
shocking.
And so, guess what? My other personality is, and I'm like, no shit, she's a renowned investment banker. She worked, while she was in control, she worked on a trading desk, like the Wolf of Wall Street. Like, people tell me that they can't believe this.
Yeah.
I am happy to provide proof because I have it. Like, I have to.
I believe
like,
all this. This is
scratch
crazy.
out stuff, but I did, like the journalists I worked with before, I always provided full proof of that, like under what's it called, when you can't disclose. This is how bad I am. So imagine someone having the same head working in investment banking, and I can't even can't remember the words right with like all the contractual agreements and all the stuff. I'm
Yeah.
so far away from that. I'm a creative. I don't mess with those things. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a trader. I have no idea about those things because our brain is split into parts.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
she has all that information and I have all this information. So as
Wow.
soon as I was in charge, the first thing people notice and they're like, what is going on with you? Because like literally on day 2 of my taking control of this body, I wrote my first song. After that, I wrote another, and then I wrote another, and then I wrote another, until the day, like in a, I think it was, no, it was like a couple of days after I took control of this body, I installed Ableton and I started producing music. I started learning to produce music, and I was like all into it. So a person who never loved music, her whole environment, like her whole like family, friends and stuff, didn't like music that much. I struggled for at first time. I'm like,
Yeah.
guys, do you want to discuss music with me? And they're like, no. Like we like techno, maybe.
I
And
like techno, but I like all types of genres. Me, I can listen to anything.
no, just giving you any
Oh, okay.
mainstream thing that people would
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
shouldn't be. Like no one liked metal in like in her environment, in the
Mm.
environment where I was, where I respawned or whatever you call it. Like I couldn't understand what is going on, why, and I can't explain to people why all of a sudden I can't work because I really can't. I don't understand what's going on. I do. So the way it works is almost like you watched a movie because we're still in the same head, so I
Yeah.
have access to the like visuals, to all the sensory information that is coming in, but I can't process it the same way the other part of the brain does, so I can see things. I'm like watching a movie, so it's like, I don't know, it's just all
What other
those
things
things
doesn't
are
she like?
there.
What other things doesn't she like? Like she doesn't
uh
like music. What is there anything else you do in your like day to day?
Like she liked cooking, for instance. There's nothing I hate more than cooking. It's like just a
It's just
nightmare.
everything's backwards, then, isn't it? Really, like everything you
No,
like or
there
hate.
are things that we both might like. Although I don't know. She liked movies. I don't like movies. No, I don't really know.
You see what I
We
mean?
do have a little
Everything's
bit.
backwards. It's like everything
It's
you
not
love or hate.
everything.
She,
We
oh
do
yeah,
have something in common.
but it's rare that occurs.
Definitely not the same taste in men. Oh, she likes sports.
Okay,
She does like sport. We do have different taste. Like she did gym. Like to me, it's boring. I don't do gym. Like I don't. I do acrobatics.
it's not for
This is
everyone. It's not for
I
everyone.
like extreme sports, like snowboarding,
Yeah, yeah.
surfing, and all that stuff. Like something that's entertaining, like very
I
very
used to
crazy.
watch extreme sports on TV. You used to have like Fantasy Factory. Remember Fantasy Factory with Rob Dyrdek and that skateboarding? Used to have the big factory. Do you remember that? It used to be on just before they used to bring on the snowboarding live events. It was cool. It was so cool. They used to make
That's,
crazy things.
I prefer doing than watching rather than watching.
I'm a bit of both, I guess. I bought a
No,
skateboard a couple
I'm
of months
very
back
bad.
to do it.
I'm very bad at concentrating. I really can't watch anything.
I do doze
I just
off
do
into
stuff.
it. If I don't like or enjoy something or I find it boring, I really just I space out. It's just the way I am.
I
This
can't
is
space
so
out. I just
mental.
need to stand up and jump somewhere.
It's such an experience, and like I think it's quite weirdly. I don't like to say it's a privilege. I don't know if that's the right word. But just actually speak to someone that their the way their life is compared. You just makes you. It makes you think more about how day to day life is with other people. Like it doesn't matter who that person is. You don't know what goes on in people's lives realistically. And it's quite interesting to find out and actually take an understanding and a step back and hear about what people struggle with, what people have in their life, and it's quite crazy, especially when you're trying to fight. I'd say fight your own mental health as well as fighting DID. I guess like that is like mental health's hard enough, and there's all different types of mental health. People suffer with mental health drastically in different ways, and things have happened to them in the past, or people in the present, or it's just the way the brain works and the way their personality is. Mental health can have a big effect, but I can't imagine having to take on the role of mental health happening within yourself, as well as that happening as well, having having DID. I can't. I don't think anyone would be able to see how that is, apart from the person that actually suffers with it. It is quite crazy, to be fair.
It's also very unique from case to case. So the funny thing about it is that it's literally like, so people start comparing and they're wondering how that works and stuff. The thing is that, and it makes it very challenging for a therapist, and
Yeah.
because it's super unique in every case. Because let's take a certain household. So there are so many combinations of people who might be living within that house. There might be like 5 or 7 people, or there might be just 1 or 2 and stuff. But
Yeah.
there also might be people who are absolutely crazy in the head, who are absolutely like super nice, who get on with each other well, who don't get on with each other at all. And so each case is extremely unique. And I was lucky to be there's always going to be a challenge to making everyone happy because everyone wants to be in control. But at least I am lucky to be in the same household with someone who is more or less adequate, very far away from me in terms of like how they view the world and like of their I don't know, interests.
Yeah.
But at least, as in, I understand that there are some systems where there's chaos and they're fighting with each other and they're like kicking each other out. I was kicked out for years, but
Yeah.
at least we can agree not to like damage each other. I don't know. It's just, at least I do think that I'm pretty lucky, and that also I also have only 2. So there are episodes where I'm struggling really badly when she is in a very bad mood and she hates everything that I do, because she does. But when she really comes in and starts being very angry with me and like displaying that in a not nice way, and scolding me and all of that, and it's very challenging at times because right now I'm not in the easiest spot in the world. I'm literally just trying to build my life, and it's happening in the most challenging circumstances ever because I didn't expect to live in Turkey all alone without any access
Yeah.
to anything. Like, I mean, I don't have any much access to the community in here because I'm also living in a small village.
Yeah.
So altogether, it's already a tough spot to be in, and having someone inside of your head criticizing you for that, it's really terrible. But also, and that was exactly what the song was about last night, because I actually did share everything about my life, and that my life as like a
I was
DA
going to
assistant.
ask you, congratulations on that track, by the way. It was
Thank you.
absolutely incredible, absolutely
Thank you.
incredible. Like when I was listening to it, and just the change up within it, it makes sense now. It makes sense.
I believe it does, because it's all about that, and I also managed to put all the like feelings, like as in, even if you don't read into the lyrics, which do have everything in them, but even if you don't read into the lyrics, you can still understand
Yeah,
from
you
the
can. Yeah, you can
feeling, like
see
from the
there's a
delivery.
lot of emotion.
Yeah.
I, I, I was when I watched it, I was like, it's okay. Like you can see videos and watch people's lyrical videos or music videos and listen to the song, and you understand you try and get beyond the beat or beyond the music itself, the instruments or whatever, or beyond the vocals. And yours was definitely one of those that I was like, wow, like this is very heavy hitting. There's a lot of music which is heavy hitting to get the viewers hyped up and to get them to like the song, but yours is very. I gathered it was more. It didn't matter what the listeners thought. If you get what I'm trying to say, it was like you produced that with full emotion and like I've got to release it. It's something I need to just release, and that
Thank
is
you.
probably the perfect actually way to put it. It was a release. If I'm right, I might be wrong.
I was at first I was trying to say I'm dropping the track, but my team was like, "Come on, damn! It's not a track. It's a song. It's a
Yeah,
real song, and it's not
I
a
agree on
drop.
that
It's
one.
a release."
Yeah, I agree. It's not a track. That is
It
not.
was the most challenging thing I ever produced, because it was also, I worked with a real drummer and a real guitarist. Like usually I just program the drums and the guitars, and there I was wanting to work with someone who actually could develop on the ideas that I had, so that we can make something like sounding really metal and really heavy. And the production took a lot of effort there, but yeah, so it was really hours and hours and hours, and like getting the vocals right, given that I can't really sing. Well, I can now,
You
but it
can
took
now,
me
yeah.
a lot of effort. It's just like it's hundreds of hours.
It's honestly amazing. So I've got to congratulate you on that one.
Oh, thank you. I can't thank my mom, but I'm thanking my team for that.
Yeah, definitely. Like honestly,
So,
anyone that is listening to the podcast, you've got to go and listen to it. I will put stuff in the bio, and it is also
thank you.
dropped a part on. It will no, it has. I've released it on my Instagram, on the Lonely Globe podcast Instagram. So anyone that wants to listen to it or watch the video, I'm not going to say listen to it. Definitely go and watch the video and listen to it because it's very, it's a very impacting song, not track. It's an impacting song. And you get to learn more about n0trixx herself, it's absolutely brilliant. It really is. So I do
Thank
congratulate
you.
on that one. Um, so I'd say my favourite tracks, apart from the one you released last night, song you released last night. Uh, I'm not even going to call the rest of them tracks actually.
Agoraphobic.
Agoraphobic and I think Emotion Eater. Is it
Yes.
Emotion Eater? Oh God, I was listening to it the other
Thank
day.
you.
Oh God! Wow, really good. Like I don't know what it
Thank
was. I
you.
think it was because we've had the podcast planned, and I like to get an understanding of the people I'm going to be doing the podcast with and interviewing. And it's a thing I go through where I have to listen and want to listen to the person's music just to have a bit more understanding of what they do. And I mean, Agoraphobic was a very good song anyway. But when I was listening to Emotion Eat, because I haven't listened to it properly until the other day, it was yeah, it's cool. And that is
Thank you.
one song I can actually say got. I was like, yeah, this is sick. This is really cool. So this is one thing I'm excited for. So when you do come to the UK and you do perform in Birmingham, it's going to be really
Emotion
cool.
Eater is definitely on the set list.
Oh,
I
thank God for
practice
that.
this all the time. It's a very challenging one. It's like it got me rapping. So at our crew, so I have a British team
Mm,
called Neurodivergent Crew, where all four of us have mental health conditions, diagnosed
I love
ones,
that already. I love that.
and each one of us has a different one. So we are all differently crazy. But yeah, we have a religion for live shows where we actually perform without much back vocals, like as in it's all like pure energy coming from the vocalist.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna be bragging because the guys actually taught me all of that, but it's now my religion. It's very exciting to be practicing for the shows, pushing yourself to the max, to be able to do crazy things. But that's one of the challenging, crazy things that I am preparing to do is. Emotion Ether, because the fast raps there are so crazy. Each time I practice and I dance at the same time, I'm
Oh,
not just
brilliant.
standing straight.
Yeah, that's
So
cool. That is.
with all of that, it's like fast rapping is such a at such a speed. It's just like after the song, I think I might just spit my lungs out, but that's fun.
That's yeah. You got to put the heart and soul into it, along with the dancing as well. Oh, you see, that's the thing and the art behind performance. Like everyone's different within the way they perform, and it's hard. I can imagine it's really hard to sing, dance, and perform. But then if like I see, I try to do my own. I try to do my own music, but like, and there's friends that I've gone to see live recently, and they're doing the shows, and I say like, isn't it a really hard struggle at first when you're like performing and like nerves building up and stuff? Because a lot of people I feel, and that if you suffer with mental health, I feel your nerves just take the best of you sometimes, and it's sometimes it's not even one of those things that you have any control over. Like it's some people can go, it's just nerves. You'll be fine. Just hit it. It's I don't think it always works that way with people that suffer with mental health. It takes a whole new like toll, and it's like your nerves kick in, and then anxiety kicks in, and then lots of things kick in, and it's like then you start to overthink, and then it's like it's like a jigsaw puzzle.
That's one thing that you cannot allow is like letting your nerves kick in,
I
and
know.
that just like the focus is just like to switch off your brain and go somewhere deep
Just
inside of
vibe
your
with what you've
subconscious.
got.
Yeah, yeah.
That makes
Just
sense, to be
just
fair.
enter some sort of state. Some people use like substances or like
I
I'll
guess it's the same
get
as when
there.
I go to like a concert,
It's
and
meditation.
I don't really take notice of people around me. I just lose my shit. So like I go to a lot of concerts, I just mosh because I like mosh pitting. I love it. I love mosh pitting, but you don't really take notice of people around you. So it's like I just lose my shit, and whoever they think, I don't really care. I guess it's that way. I guess so. You can do the same. But is it
Music does
different?
have a meditative component to it.
Yeah, it
You
does.
can actually forget about everything while you're listening. That's the
And
reason
your
for why we love
creativity
music.
really like blows out in colours as well. I find music's it's genius. Music is genius. Anyone you want to work with in the future time to come, if you could work with someone this year, I guess, collab with someone that you really want to collab with, or in the near future, do you have any people that you would like to with your music?
Oh well, I dream big. I
Go
do
for it.
want
No, throw it out. Go for it.
these guys. Hey, Corey Taylor, if you're
Oh
listening to this
yes,
podcast right now,
yes.
please hit me up.
Corey
Also,
Taylor's in Wolverhampton soon.
Jonathan Davis, I already posted you and tagged you on my story today, and you still haven't hit me up. Please do that in shortest terms. Someone just told me, like, I ripped off Jonathan Davis with that single that dropped, because there is a line, and I'm not gonna lie, I do agree, because
Yeah, but
Jonathan Davis is number one influence on me. Like literally everything that, like his vocal styles, the corns, chords, and everything like in the
yeah,
music, it influenced me so much. Because like people, my fellow producers who are outside of the genre, each time they listen to my music and like we analyze stuff together and we give each other feedback. I have a whole pool of friends who help me with feedback. Each time when I shoot my music their way, they're like, dude, how did you come up with these chords? Like, they don't exist. Like, really? I'm like, dude, come on. You just don't listen to Korn. You just don't understand that those chords do exist. And so, yeah, it's definitely a huge influence. But yeah,
I was gonna
one of
say,
the
is it stealing or is it just being influenced by
no,
it though?
it's being influenced, of course.
100%. I don't agree with it. The whole stealing part, it's being influenced.
Everyone is influenced by something.
Oh
Everyone is
yeah,
stealing from
definitely.
each other. That's how it's just the way it works. That's what art is. It's like
100%.
taking something. We are all literally. We are all actually AI, some sort of AI in our brain, where we just take all of the things that we've seen and we're just compiling it into one thing that we love the most
We're
because
our
we
own
love those
Google,
things. Yeah, yeah.
pretty much.
So, yeah, definitely. And so I was influenced, and I'm really proud of that part. I actually do use that a lot. Like, what would Jonathan Davis be like if he were a girl? Because you know that's cool.
There's
That's
you
me.
like.
No, but I can do that with my vocals. I not many girls can do that. Like
No,
I
no.
do make those sounds with the voice. I will one day do a little cover of Twist. That's
Oh
one
yeah,
of my goals. I really want to do this because like everyone will be like, what? Because
yeah.
this is what I love doing. But yeah, those are the dream
Corey
collabs.
Taylor though.
Well, dream big, right? And get there.
100% dream big.
Just work towards it.
Did you know? Have you seen the new? Because obviously speaking about Slipknot and Korn and all that, have you seen Adidas are dropping Korn's?
They're not even purple.
Have you seen it then?
And of course, I'm a Corn fan. Come on.
I'm getting this stuff. I'm definitely buying the merch. Oh yeah. Oh, look at the
Color
Adidas.
it purple for me, please, because they need to be purple. Come
It's
on.
I'm a, see. I
And
like the
with the
trainers, but the trainers with the Korn logo on the back.
fancy.
Yeah, really cool. And then the campuses as well. Then the old school campuses. Because they've released them back in the stores recently, and I was like, I've got to get some. And then my friend came to me at work and was like, have you seen this? I was like, show me. He's like, I was like, that's not real. That can't be real. That's like, they're not doing that. And then I looked into it. I was like, oh my god, they actually are. And I think them all dropping in October. I was like, I gotta save some money because I'm gonna make some purchases. I'm a big Corn fan. I always said Brian Welch back in the day, back in these 2000 era. His hair, when he used to have his braids in his hair, I think he had the coolest style ever. Brian Welch did, 100%. Like if I've said now, if I could look back and be or look like anyone, Brian Welch. I don't know why, but yeah, I think it would
I dig
be.
it.
Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like with his hair, his
Totally.
hair was absolutely mental,
Yep.
absolutely crazy.
But I'm a Jonathan Davis eternal fan.
Jonathan
Like,
Davis,
take
yeah,
me, Jonathan.
Jonathan Davis, yeah,
No, he's like a a role model for me because one of the things that he proved to me that it's never about the looks. It's always about the energy. It's like
100%.
you don't have to be the most attractive person on earth. And that's what I tell my audience too. I want to share this with the
What is the
world.
most? Look, when there's people say about most attractive, this is. I like to get into this because like, people say about most attractive this, most attractive, like they're attractive, but it depends on people's like visuals of what they find attractive. I'm more of a person. I like personality. I like the looks, and personality and looks have got to be a thing. But then there's people that are attracted to personality. There's people that are attracted to looks. But then there's people that are attracted to looks that say, oh, they're the most beautiful girl in the world, or I don't know, most good-looking guy ever in the world. But then there's another person, like say 2 out of that 5 or 3 out of that 5 people could go on that. No, they're not. Do you get what I mean? So like
Exactly.
attractiveness is like, is it one thing you
But
can stand back and go, they're the most attractive? Because I don't think it
it's
works.
all about the energy.
Yeah,
Because
100%.
I come from a country where every other girl is a supermodel, like literally.
Yeah,
And
Russia. Yeah, it's
honestly,
huge.
honestly, I am average. I'm really average in Russia. And when, when I did struggle with appreciating myself the way I am for years until really the point where I just thought, okay, but the people who I view as the most attractive, they might not be considered universally attractive, and so many people would say like, ugh. And what stands out about them is their energy, is how confident they are, and how they don't let anyone just even question how they are. They just appreciate themselves, and they convey it to the world that they do. And
Mm.
that's all it takes. And I really want to share this with the world and with everyone who follows me and listens to my preaching. Is that it's
The
always
preaching.
about just learning to appreciate yourself, because it was a tough process for me. It took a while.
Self-love definitely comes as you get older. It's something you can't do as you're younger. You go through, your body's going through a lot of changes. So there's children now and kids now, and do you know what? TikTok's so bad for it right now
Yep.
because you see so many people growing, and then they're trying to be this, that something that they shouldn't even need to even think about being yet. They're too young to understand. So like, I'm not old enough now. Like, I'm 26 and I'm still trying to figure out things. I'm still trying to learn things. Like, so like me being that way now, I can't imagine what that person's thinking, and they're like 14, 15. And I just find it bizarre because it's like, how can you think? Like, how can you try and pinpoint yourself as this one person or trying to be something that you won't be in the next 2 years? Like 3 years, you won't want to be that way. You won't want to hang around with those people. You won't want to look like this. You'll want to dress different. And it's crazy, like how people go about it. So like, it's definitely one of those, like, as you get older, it changes. Like your view changes on so many things, and definitely the way
Yep.
you feel and look. definitely.
Well, hopefully more people will understand that with time and start like promoting that, because right now, yeah, there's a lot of people who are advocating for self-love and
It's promoted in the wrong ways. I don't know one thing, and I don't know what people will definitely disagree with me on this, and I've got to put it out there though. But it's promoted in a way of skinny or being slightly bigger. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like, oh, people are like,
okay, I get
oh,
it.
you got to. They're trying to promote like it's okay to have weight. It's okay to have endometriosis for women. It's okay. Yeah, it's definitely okay. But what you're not trying to pinpoint is that's you're just basing things off weight. Like
Yeah,
people
I
aren't
agree.
doing it just off weight now. It's like, oh, the way they look, or the way they dress, the music they listen to, or the activities they do, and what they think what they think's cool and what they think isn't cool. Like it's criticism, and I think people are trying to base now kids that are growing up and oh, it's okay to have this and it's okay to be skinny, it's okay to be big. It's not just about weight and size of people and what's big and what's small, and do you
It's
know what I
just
mean?
appreciating that you're unique and
Yeah,
you're you, and there's so many things that you might think that I'm not exactly the way everyone is, but I'm still fine with it, and I'm still good. And that's what, yeah, that's what people don't promote. I agree with you that there's uniqueness to be promoted, that there's always those certain little things about you, that there's always going to be someone who loves that so much.
yeah, definitely. I 100% agree with you on that one. People are just going to accept you for who you are, and people are going to love you for who you are, no matter what, no
They
matter
could
what
even
you look
learn
like.
to love
Yeah,
the things that you have. They would never know that they love that until you show them, and until you
it was a
because
very like, you know what, it was a like even doing the podcast now and that, and was it a bit one of those things I wanted to do, and people are going to criticize like why are you doing that, and people are trying to question what is your point beyond the podcast, and then it was like it's as simple as my point beyond this podcast is there's people out there with big talents, and they need to understand that the talent they have needs to grow and needs to be put out there, because it's no point sitting in a dark room and getting it on, I don't know, SoundCloud and putting it on private for people not to listen to but yourself, but you're dreaming in this bubble that, oh, you one day want to be on stage. Well, let it happen then. Let that happen. And this is the point behind the name Lonely Globe. Like Lonely Globe was created because I believe that it's like a lot of people now live, and this is the actual this is the thought process I had behind the name Lonely Globe. Living in a world that you'll forever feel lonely, and a lot of people feel lonely. So the point behind Lonely Globe was to bring the name that people understand, and they understand it personally because it's like, right, I live in a world that I feel lonely. It's a community that's going to be built that you won't ever feel that way, and you can do what the hell you want to do, and everyone's going to help and promote and push you to your limits that you've never wanted to push yourself before because you were afraid to do it. Now's the chance. You don't need to be afraid to do it. These community of people that live around you and doubt you and think it's funny or stupid what you're doing, oh, they ain't real people. Those people are going to be in your life for 2, 3 more years, and you're not even going to want to know them, or probably you won't even know them again. There's a group of people out there that are going to try and do the same and build, or will not do it together. That is the main thing behind the podcast. In a way, it's getting people to come out the shell and just do what the fuck they want to do. Because do you know what it is? It's a massive impact on me. That's what I've wanted to do, and it's like, no, it makes sense.
it's really wonderful of you.
It
Like
makes sense to do.
having a mission is just what makes people who get to the very top and
Mm.
like to success.
It's like,
That's what stands out about them.
yeah, and it's like,
You have a mission.
do I make money from it? No. Would I like to make money from it? Yeah, I would 100% like to make money from it. But is the money the mine? No, it's not. I'm spending money and gaining nothing back. and it's like, am
Very
I okay?
relatable.
Am I okay to do that? 100%, because it's like like me not doing right. This is the perfect thing. This is the perfect thing to say now. Me not doing this, I would not have known anything about yourself. I wouldn't have known anything about people I've done podcasts with before, and do you know what? That is a privilege to learn about new, like, different people every day. It's more encouraging and more of a reward than it is someone putting £10 in my bank account, if that makes sense.
It's
It's weird.
very relatable,
I can spend
even though
£10,
in a
but I can
different way.
never get rid of those memories now. It's quite cool, man. Like, honestly, it's amazing and it's nice to see how it's growing. It's growing. It's still small, but it's growing as people are getting involved, and it's nice. And just getting different people on the podcast like yourself.
You
It's
know,
it's
what I
crazy.
believe is when people really are doing something for the passion and for like because of really enjoying it and because of really believing in what they do and trying to make a positive impact rather than trying to make money, it's sh- well, in my universe, it's destined to success because it like the passion can
Flows
be
naturally.
felt.
I think
Yeah,
it flows
well,
more natural than forcing something.
no, it's just like people feel the passion. Like
Yeah, yeah.
with me that works that way. Like I can see why people are drawn to me and why they stick because they can feel that I put all of myself into it and I'm putting myself into it for a reason,
Hmm.
and that reason is not money. I if I had stayed in that career that I was like literally put into, I would have made so much more money. I'm actually living off of the savings that she made.
Yeah.
So not something I'm really proud of, but not something I can escape because I don't make any money these
At
days.
the
I'm
end of the
just
day, it's forming a dream you want to proceed, and that's the way you got to see it.
yeah, I'm hoping that one day I can at least recover financially.
I
that
think
that's
everyone. I
all it
think it
takes
goes.
for me to be
I think it
honest.
goes in a cycle. I think people do recover financially, and don't know, good things happens to good people that do good things. But I'm a firm believer of that.
Me too. So I'm gonna believe in that.
I am a firm believer that good things happen to
But
people that do good
to
things.
be honest, I could have stayed in that profession, investment banking, that I have nothing to do with. But I could have learned something. Like I would have been sloppy as fuck. But there's people who are sloppy as fuck in their professions, and no one can do anything about it. But anyway, it turned really weird. It's like I literally, I lost that job because of the war, because I protested, because
Yeah.
that was a government bank in Russia. So I couldn't go on working there because I was against the war. And there was the other thing, I had to leave the country because, again, I was risking like real bad to get further into trouble. So I had to leave the country, and so I couldn't go on with that job. But still, if I had to, I wouldn't be happy at all, and not because I would just be miserably working just for the money, but also because I wouldn't have had that much feeling that I am doing something right and I'm doing something not only for myself. I'm actually trying to make, an impact. Like, as cheesy as it sounds, making a world a better place, but I actually have a chance to do that.
Mm.
I'm not gonna judge anyone. It's like everyone is in the music industry for their own reason, but I do feel like there's not enough people who can use that platform to do something good to make people happier. Like I'm actually Buddhist, so we can start with that, and like that clears it all out. But I do know that even my like things that make me very unhappy result from other people being extremely miserable and spreading the hate because they can't do anything. It's like a vicious circle. The hate just like rotates in the world nonstop, 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 and no one can stop it. And I understand that I'm not like a superhuman or someone who could stop that, but I can do that much to at least make it a little better. And what I do, I I want, and I'm already going ahead with that. I want to create a community where people share my values, and by empowering them and making them feel they're not alone, there are people just like them who all also want to be nice to other people and who want to treat others with respect, regardless of who they are and how they are, and like regardless of their mental health condition, all that, like just being nice to each other. And that, like, someone says a nice thing to you in the morning, and throughout the day
It
it
makes
makes
your
it so
day.
much easier.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
does.
it makes it easier for you to smile to another person and do something
No,
good.
it's right.
And it works the other way around. People just spread hate nonstop. Like the amount of shit we receive from the internet, like the amount of really bad things that we receive from the internet each day is crazy. Like people argue with each other. And the worst thing in the world is that my life changed exactly because of that. Because people in Russia are so miserable. Like with time, they got. Don't get me started on the political situation, like overall economical situation, because I'm real opposition there, because I know that my country was stolen away from me, and someone just like put themselves on the top, started squeezing out everything, like all the resources, everything, and fed people lies, because like when you're on an upper curve of the economy, and you're like, and everyone feels like, oh wow, that's so cool, that's all because of them on the top, and then that person stays in power for 20 years and everyone still believes that was all due to him, and then that person just keeps on feeding lies, brainwashing people, and all of that. But the thing that is the worst is that people are so full of hate that you just feed them with information about, oh, that neighboring nation, they kill the likes of us. And it's like literally how World War II started, and people don't even understand that they're like going through the same fucking thing. I actually wrote the song about
That
that. It's on my
we all
EP.
like we all know who it is, but that's what he wants.
No, but they're so blinded by
Oh
hate.
yeah,
They're so blinded by the mere, like, they need to find a reason why they're miserable. And he gives them that reason. And that's the worst thing. And so we can't stop that hate. It just multiplies. He feeds that hate with some other shit. Because I've seen like the dialogues between Russians and Ukrainians, and each one blames each other in their being miserable, and that's the worst thing, because they're being miserable because they can't fucking figure out their own lives.
it's just
No, it's
it's a sense of anger release for them. What
yeah.
they're doing is anger release.
Well, wars start that way, and people, like, I'm not even talking about myself. They're actual people dying. They're
Yeah,
actual kids dying, and kids left without their parents. Like seriously, and all I can do, like, I can use that platform, like me developing in this world, like as an artist, I can use that to just like at least make a little bit of an impact,
yeah,
and be not about just like fucking twerking, but be about something actually important. And I
yeah.
can do this, and that's what makes me happy. Is it really does, like having that one little message from someone saying, oh, your music made me so happy today, or like, thank you for speaking up about mental health, or like, thank you for just speaking up against Putin. Like, all of that makes me really happy, and I wouldn't be happy if I were just working in an investment bank and just making shitloads of money.
It's right. It's you know what? It's live your life, and from what's happened, it's something you've had to step away from, and it's been stolen from you. But then, do you think to yourself, it's given me the opportunity to do what I can do now? So it's like, as horrible what's happened, it's kind of got to be great. It's not like, I wouldn't say grateful, but you've got to be kind of like, do you know what? It's been a kick up the arse to just here we go, full throttle.
Everything happens for a reason.
That's what I meant to say. That's what I was trying to say. Everything happens for a reason. It's it is definitely like, and you can see that though. Like I said, you can see that within your music. There's anger and there's emotion behind a lot of things that you deal with in your life, and it's, as much as that's going into your music, it's having such a positive vibe on your community in a weird sense, in a weird way, because it's like everything, I wouldn't say everything, but a lot of your music does relate to a lot of emotional things and things that are good, or things, well, sorry, things that aren't good, I should say, and things that have not worked out well for yourself or whatever. But positively on your community, for the people that's your supporters and listeners, they rock, don't they? Really, like, they are amazing listeners for what they really take in and understand, and they support you every day for that.
I'm really blessed.
Yeah, 100%. You should be. 100% should be.
But that's also the healing power of music. You are able to listen to something like super aggressive and you get that energy out of you. If you're just keeping it within you and you just like having it like rotate around, like circle through you non-stop, you will just get more miserable. Whereas this sort of music does help like release that into the air, not into someone else, but into the air, like in like just
yeah.
When I was a teenager and I was an angry teenager, like that's a revelation. I used to listen to Slipknot and just run into a wall. That's how I released my negative energy. It was like a sort of moshing, but with a fucking
wanted
wall.
that for their listeners though. Full throttle into wall and just go for it.
Yeah, well, I don't do that anymore. I would just destroy myself.
No, that's being young. We learn from that.
Yeah.
One eye. So what's the plans before we start to wrap up? What's the plans for your music, like now, within, what have you got planned for the next 6 months? You don't have to say a lot of things.
Oh, no. Well, first of all, this EP is hopefully, no, but it's like, it's already like starting to get massive, because the next release, the next single that comes in October 12th, it's we made a music video to it with some pretty big people in the filmmaking industry, so that's one thing, on a very tight budget, because I couldn't afford much, but they were involved just because they love what I do and they really believe in me. Then the next thing is like dropping the whole EP in November. So it's I'm so bad with numbers that I forgot the date of my own EP. November 17. And then November 24 is the gig in London, and somewhere around that there will be a couple of gigs added to be confirmed and announced. And then there is a very important project by the end of the year that I'm also looking for, but we're not disclosing anything. But throughout that time, there's going to be so much, like in terms of visuals, and it's making
it's going to be so exciting.
Anxious. It's like that's the time of the year where I push hard as fuck with like getting all that. Yeah, all that art, all those visuals, they're all gonna come. But I also have help from PR agency in Britain involved, so that's hopefully gonna go well, and it's gonna be massive. It's not gonna be just me releasing something, to a like very small audience. Well, not so limited.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see what's going to be coming. I think just from that song yesterday, I'm excited. I can just see, I can feel the energy. There's a volcano going to erupt somewhere, and you're just going to go.
Oh, and yeah, the updated set after the EP, the updated set is going to be so heavy and so metal. and it's a 45-minute set now. So it's something
Oh, that's gonna be
I do
cool.
think it would be really worth watching.
Yeah, this is gonna be absolutely incredible. It's gonna be good. Do you know what? It's been an
Thank you.
absolute privilege having you on the podcast. No tricks.
Likewise, thank you so much for having me. And it was
No,
super
honestly.
enjoyable.
To any of your listeners, I'm, I'm pushing this out. I'm following it.
Sorry, you're a bit muffled.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Podcast,
Yeah.
and like you being on the podcast, your listeners, I've got to push it out. Your listeners have got to listen to this. So, anything you want to say to your listeners before everything like gets cut off? Anything you want to
Well,
say?
they all know that I love them like crazy, and I appreciate the fuck out of them. You guys, I'm really happy. If you made it so far in the podcast, then we definitely love each other.
No doubt. No doubt, because it's been a very, very interesting podcast. To be fair, it's been quite a deep, in a good way. But like, I think out of all my podcasts, this one's probably been my most favorite. Sorry, everyone else I've done podcasts with.
Well,
But
no,
this one's been very
I'm
interesting.
also gonna be honest. This is one of the most enjoyable ones I've ever
Yeah,
had.
it's been
Like,
very
really,
interesting.
such a
So it's a
relaxed
privilege.
atmosphere, and like so much to be able to share. But
No,
yeah, thank you so much for being there for me, because like my audience has been. I sometimes I feel a bit like I don't deserve them because it's just like there's been so much support. I just like I am overwhelmed by it, but like as in a good way, as in I just want to give back, and I'm like, oh my god, what should I do to make
giving
them
back being
feel how much I love them? But yeah, and how much I appreciate that. So yeah, if you made it so far in the podcast, and if you've been there for me, thank you so much, and like I really appreciate it. If you're just new to this, thank you so much for going through this far, and I do hope that today's conversation helped you understand a little bit more about how beautiful it is to live in a world without hate, and with being able to make the world a little bit better, and like the people around you feel a bit better. So I hope that kind of that message was well received. And otherwise, yeah, much love, and I'm happy to be there for you.
100%.
Thank you.
No tricks, ladies and gentlemen. So I want to thank you again personally for the podcast. It's been amazing, absolutely incredible. Thank you for coming on.
Likewise.
And
Thank you.
definitely we've got to do more of these. 100%. We're gonna get some more podcasts coming through yourself. So it's been
I'm in.
brilliant. So Lonely
Thank you.
Globe, episode 5.
Thank you,
over and
Lonely
out.
Globe.